Hey everyone, I'm Tyler Metcalf and I watched the film so you don't have to. On this video, we're taking a look at BYU freshman point guard Egor Demin. When a prospect shows us an elite skill early and then sustains it throughout the year, it makes the evaluation so much easier. And that's exactly what Egor Demin did with his playmaking, as he proved to be one of, if not the best playmakers in the 2025 NBA draft. On the season, Demin averaged 5.5 assists, but he had an assist rate of 34.6. To hit that 34 mark, he became just the 14th freshman from a major conference since 2008 to do that. Really, really rare company for him to join, and the fact that he's doing it at 6'9" in shoes is all the more encouraging for his translation to the NBA. Now, the numbers are fun, but the film is even more impressive. Let's take a look. Welcome to film school. Let's dive in. As we can see throughout some of these clips, Yegor is such a fun and accurate and creative playmaker. He does such a good job of collapsing the defense, using his size to create passing angles that most other point guards simply aren't afforded because they don't have the vision or the size or the passing angles to deliver those passes. And obviously, the accuracy stands out. Obviously, the flair, like we just saw right there, stands out. But what always pops to me is the versatility of his playmaking. It's never just one specific play type that he's creating out of. It's DHOs and pick and rolls, just creating from the top of the arc like that to find cutters, uh, driving dumps, throwing lobs out of drives, kicking out of drives, finding cutters, finding shooters, setting up his roller in a lot of different ways. The versatility that Demin plays with is really encouraging for his translation to the NBA level in terms of the types of lineups he can play with and what type of role he can play in on offense, where he doesn't have to be this heliocentric type of creator, but instead you can put him in motion. You can have him operate from the second side. Obviously, some of the scoring stuff has to develop more for him to generate a bit more gravity in those situations. But even just throwing him out as your main point guard, you're going to be able to run a lot of really, really fun stuff because he's going to be able to make unique reads that set up off ball scorers for really good looks. So let's take a little closer look at some of these plays and dissect what Demin is seeing and how he's creating. So right off the bat here, pretty standard high pick and roll. Devin's going to feel his defender go for this back tap. So he knows he's going over the screen. So all he's doing is reading, all right, where is the help defender coming from and who's going to try and cut off my drive? As he gets to the free throw line, the screener's defender obviously didn't step over. The strong side corner dig is coming late because you don't help off of strong side corner shooters. So all Demon is doing is reading this weak side defender because he knows that three defenders are out of the play and above the free throw line. This help dig from the strong side is coming late, so it's just a 2-on-1 between Demon, this weak side defender, and Demon's teammate in the corner on the weak side. Once the defender gets 2 feet in the lane, that ball's coming out. Demon does a really good job here of not risking a passing crash type of charge or giving the defender a better opportunity to get a deflection. Once he's committed, caught in no man's land, Demon gets rid of it. That's about as wide open of a look as you're possibly going to get. On this one, again, nothing crazy to start with, but a really good use of his size. So he gets a switch on the opposing center, on Norchad Omier, and simple little hang dribble into a crossover, attacks his high foot, catches Omier a little flat-footed, a little too square in his stance. And now his long strides allow him to beat Omier to the spot, and then his size and strength allow him to snake back towards the middle to put Omier in jail and ensure that this weak side rotation from 5 that he has to commit and step over. So once he does that, Demon doesn't want to get blocked by this guy. He doesn't want to get blocked by Omier. And he just makes the right simple read, taking what the defense gives him, sees what's in front of him, kicks out to Catchings, wide open 3. A little more flair and fun release angles on this one. I mean, shot doesn't go in, but right from the start here, a little DHO into pick and roll action. As Demin comes off the screen, he knows his defender's going over and he has all the space to attack down into. So he knows that Central Arkansas is really concerned about packing the paint and not giving up any easy twos. So as he comes off the screen, he sees that his roller's coming down hard, and the help defender over here on the weak side is tagging pretty aggressively. What I love about this is the lack of hesitation and the unique release angle. So the live dribble obviously cuts out that extra second that he would have to take to gather, shift his momentum, and kick back against his against where his body's going. And instead, he just live dribble, scoop pass, overhead release, pretty narrow passing window here, but he delivers it with pace, right on the money, exactly where it needs to be. And that extra split second gives his teammate just a little bit of extra room on the late closeout. Pretty clean look, doesn't fall, but the creativity and the release angle on that at his size was really what stood out, and something that pops up quite a bit throughout these clips. So right here, again, similar release angle stuff. So the last clip we saw him live dribble, scoop kind of overhead. Now we're seeing him whip it out with one hand extended out in front of him. And from the start here, just simple hang dribble again. A lot of his handle, it's not overly dynamic, it's not overly flashy, it's pretty concise and pointed to exactly what he wants to do. A little hang dribble freezes the defender for a second. His size helps him shrug off the defender, and now that he's down at the block, forces the help rotation. He's a little bit out of control right now, but does a great job of gathering himself. And this is absurd. His eyes are on catchings in the corner here, but he knows exactly where his teammates are, and he's trying to move this guy a little bit to whip that pass out to Richie Saunders. He does, passes right on the money. Now Demon's direct pass doesn't lead to the shot, but sets up a scramble situation. Sanders makes the extra pass, wide open three. Another high pick and roll here, a little Spain action, screen the screener on the back. Again, another really fun release angle that most guys, if just can't do or don't even think of doing. And at Demon's size, being able to do this at 6'9" allows him to deliver the ball from so many different angles that that defenders just aren't used to typically seeing. So as he comes off the screen, he is reading these two defenders. So little Spain action, screen the screener, help defender with the weak side corner defender does a good job of rotating over, because 8 here is going to lift back out to follow 21, and 1 gets caught up on the screen. So I believe that's Kada. Apologies if I'm wrong there, but 13 is rolling hard to the rim. So the weak side defender has to get both feet in the lane. Demin sees that. He sees exactly where that defender is. And again, that's how many players are releasing that pass with one hand from that angle. And as a weak side defender, at this moment, you have no idea where that ball is going. It could easily go to the roller. It could easily skip out here, but you have to prioritize taking away the dunk. So he has to stay frozen for an extra split second, which always gives shooters, especially at the NBA level, all the room they need. This is kind of like how MLB pitchers have gotten so good at disguising their pitches that you don't really know what pitch they threw until it's already over halfway to the plate. So whips it out, little off target, but given the pace on it, the release angle, the distance, I'm willing to forgive it. Good hands by 25. Pretty clean look. Money from the corner. Again, just delivers this stuff with one hand on an absolute rope. So he's staring down his man in the post, and this eye manipulation gets the corner defender to just take an extra step over. It's not much, but it's enough. Let's see. That right there. It's not much, but that extra step gives Demin a slightly better passing lane, and it gives Catchings an even better ability to attack baseline because now his defender has to close out that extra step. So by delivering it with that pace, the defender is now late to the closeout. Catchings is past him, and really good job finishing through the foul. High pick and roll yet again. Really good job of getting a rescreen. And Demin isn't the most explosive athlete, so something he does a lot to get downhill is getting rescreens and really toying with defenders and putting them on their heels like he does here. So they switch it initially. He reads his teammate setting up at the elbow. Really good job of coming back off of it. His initial defender doesn't recognize that they need to switch back quick enough. Gets held up on 13 a little bit. He might be holding him a little bit there, but hey, good screen, effective. And now that Demin is toyed with the defenders in that two-man game, now he's downhill. He's getting yet again another paint touch and forcing this weak side rotation. Gets downhill, great deceleration, really good job of planting that right foot, kills his momentum while still getting the defender in the air, and eyes up. He knows that his teammate is cutting to the rim because of where the defender rotated from. Drops it off. That's a tough one not to get an assist on. High pick and roll, gets downhill. Really good job. Again, this is where the size comes into play. If Demin is 6'3", 8 here is going to be able to bump him off his drive way more effectively. But since he's 6'9", has that strength, Demin's able to secure the ball really well through the help dig here, absorb the contact from 8, fights through it, and look at the spacing from TCU's defense. They're all below the free throw line. Almost 4 of them are on this left block, obsessed with what Demin's doing here. He's out of control a little bit. Most players are, or he at least looks out of control, but his eyes are up. He knows that he has one defender on his back. He just beat one through the strong side dig and sees these two right here in the paint. So he knows that his teammate's going to be on the weak side. Kicks out against his momentum. So by the time he releases, so he leaves the ground there, kicks out here, and his momentum carries him out of bounds, has the strength to deliver it exactly where it needs to be. That is such a tough pass, and the fact that it's right on the money is really special. Gets another screen, and now we see him just getting downhill. From here, he knows that Caleb Love is out of the play, so he just has a two-man game here. He knows Townsend probably isn't going to help too aggressively off strong side corner. Does a really good job of just attacking downhill. Great angle for a layup. A little bit of craft. He goes up similar to that release angle that I was talking about before, where the help side defender can't really tell where the pass is going until it's well out of his hand. From here, Demin, I believe that's Toby Awaka, he has to protect the rim. And as Demin goes up here, he's simulating a layup. So that gets Awaka to totally engage and totally commit to Demin. But being 6'9", having that size, Demin's able to just float it up effortlessly over Awaka, leave it right on a platter for his teammate. Easy dunk. Being able to do that at 6'9" makes a world of difference, just like this. So initial glance, this pass looks really lucky. It looks like he got bailed out here. Like Carter Bryant missed his rotation, and Bryant was a little slow on it, but being able to do this at 6'9", a 6'2" guard can't do this. A 6'3" guard can't do this. So instead of letting Demin get downhill, now Arizona's blitzing him and trying to get the ball out of his hands. The problem is that at his size, he can still see the entire floor even when he gets blitzed like this. So he does a really good job of stringing out his dribble, drawing both defenders with him, and that's going to make the spacing and ground that these help defenders have to cover all that much greater. So as he takes another step back, still really composed, teammate does a good job of coming to get it. Teammate does a really good job of coming to get it, and that draws both of these defenders out and creates a ton of space for 13 in the paint. From here, that release angle, yet again, I'm sorry to keep harping on release angles, but when you're 6'9", you get to release the ball from some really unique spots. So overhead, 6'9", that's well over that. That's probably like releasing it at 7'2", and Carter Bryant down here is on the rotation. It's almost like he sees it late, but the pace and the placement that Demin has on this pass is incredibly special. So he's falling away, high release point, has to beat the rotation from Carter Bryant over here, puts it only where his guy can get it, while also being able to finish at the rim. That's really, really special. If he was 6'4", he's not being able to execute that pass. Really similar type of flair, creativity, shifting where he's releasing the ball to set up his teammate on the roll here. So they switch it here, and from here, Demon's looking at 8, and I believe that's Seinen on the weak side here. So he knows they're switching so that his initial defender is going to be on his back. He takes this extra pause just to make sure that there isn't going to be a late rotation coming from the weak side defender. Confirms there isn't, so he knows that his roller has all the space in the paint, that the paint is basically unoccupied for him. Since they switched the center on him, a little tougher to throw a lob. Tough to throw a lob to a guy when a guy's also draped on his back. So instead, little wraparound pass, extends with that wingspan, his height, and leads his teammate perfectly. That's such a tough pass to lead him in stride against really, really solid defense by 5 there. Sets up his teammate for the easy dunk. Again, skip pass, really similar situation to the clip we just saw. High pick and roll, and he's reading the weak side defenders. Hunter Dickinson's in his way. He sees him stepping up, so he's just keeping an eye on Rylan Griffin, Zeke Mayo on that weak side. And the second that Griffin gets both feet in the paint here, that ball's coming out. He's seen these guys not be on the same page. They're both rotating from the weak side to tag the roller. Poor spacing on the weak side, delivers it right on the money. Really clean look. High pick and roll yet again. Exact same situation. Gets that screen, and weak side defender is rotating over incredibly early and really aggressively. And he's at the elbow before Egor has even broke the 3-point line. This is such an easy read, especially at his size. Really good job of countering a bizarre defensive coverage. And the fact that he's 6'9", he can see through this traffic with ease. Again, really high release point. Not exactly perfect. A little high on the pass, but we're nitpicking there. Good shot fake, sidestep, wide open look yet again. The way that Demin sets up his teammates and disguises the types of passes that he throws at his size is so incredibly fun. So where does that leave us? Egor Demin has been one of the more polarizing prospects throughout this entire draft cycle, and rightfully so, given some of the inconsistencies we've seen with him on defense and with his shooting and scoring. It's stuff that he simply has to get better at, but so does every prospect. What other prospects don't have to fall back on that Egor does is elite positional size and elite playmaking. Two facets of his game, really important facets of his game, that are immediately translatable to the NBA level. At his size, Yegor can set up teammates and manipulate defenses in ways that very few, if any, other players in this draft can. Being 6'9" affords him the ability to see the floor and simply see things that other players can't. It also gives him the size and the length to initiate and disguise passes in really special and confusing and manipulative ways that toy with defenders and set up his teammates for really, really clean looks. Being 6'9" and an elite playmaker gives Egor Demin a really fun foundation to start. And with his unselfishness, sometimes too unselfish, active off ball scorers, high level off ball shooters, rim runners, they're going to adore playing with Egor Demin. When we think about elite skills in the 2025 NBA draft, Egor Demin's playmaking is right at the top of the list.